the most improved player for either 22 or 23. I don't remember when Mario first started taking off. But it's like, these are two of like the youngest competitors in Summit, and also two of like the highest ceilings, I believe, and two of the players who rose the fastest. So great stuff to see them both here in Winners Semis. Mario, or Winners Quarters rather. Mario also made an upset to get here. Mario beat Fat Sandwich to get here.
Yeah. I will also say, like, for these two, like, players, they're also two of the biggest, I'd say, grinders, especially, like, in the scene. You were talking about that improvement, and that improvement, it can come naturally to an extent, but it does require that effort. It requires that labbing. And these are two players that really just want to push their characters and their potential to the absolute limit.
Absolutely. And speaking of characters, the character coming out from Mario is going to be the Min, not the Steve, not the Mario. I did not expect anything different.
No.
And, we were actually talking with Mario at lunch, and I think he was mentioning that, like, he was very happy with his draw in here as getting Galleon. He's pretty confident against Galleon. However, quick 107% off of that.
Like, it's so much damage. And, I mean, you could say all you want about Min versus Kazuya, but you have to get on the stage first, Mario.
Yeah.
You have to get on the stage.
You have to get a single hit, my friend.
Yeah. And, I mean, you have a little bit of that ram to, like, really, like, put Galleon on notice. But now we're kind of seeing Mario set up a little bit on the other side of that stage. You see him hanging out right outside of that Smashville platform.
Yeah, and we were talking about Galleon earlier as well. Like, Galleon is so adept at finding, like, these Kazuya strings off of a single, like, hit. We saw him get, like, a massive Kazuya string earlier in the first set off of, like, falling up air. Like, insane hits that Galleon finds, or can convert into, like, 80% and or a stock. And he might be starting one here right there with the Nair. Yeah, that's it.
The double Nair just kind of coming through. And now Galleon up 3 stocks to 1, at least in this first step, which I thought on a stage would be pretty Mario's favor. But we've just kind of been showing the small stage presence from Galleon has just been doing wonders.
Yeah, Galleon playing with lots of fire right now, coming out swinging for this top cut. He knows, like, hey, I swept my pool. I beat last year's Summit champion Dro. I'm in a really good spot to, go a really long way in this bracket. And
he said Jabes who, Dro who, and now he's kind of proving, especially in this one game. That's possibly a regrab, but yeah, just going right past the ledge.
Yeah, Mario is able to find something started with that Megawatt F smash into the Dragon Armor F smash as well. But, it's only 59. You got to find a stock quickly. You can't let Galleon live to, like, 160, 170 that he was living at in the last stock.
Yeah, you kind of have to, like, get these hits in. And the thing is, Galleon is being so smart, at least with his shield. He's kind of anticipating, like, his initial moves. And when we gets that hit in, that's it. Galleon, especially recently, he does not miss those.
He does not miss those first sets, especially not on the Smashville platform. Such a wide, like, zone for him to be able to hit that in.
Yeah, and initially I was thinking that maybe it might be a little bit too wide of a zone. Maybe you can't necessarily get the withstanding, but it worked out at that point. It ended up sealing out the game.
When we saw him earlier on stream against Dro, whenever he was able to pick a stage, he went to Hollow Bastion. So I think those, like, single platform stages are just comfortable for Galleon. It feels like home for him.
Yeah, the big thing especially is that I would say, unlike PS2, where Mario can try, like, DI off of the platform, and Galleon, he's been really good at, like, getting the re-pickups with the Nairs, but he can kind of just say, I don't need to do the fancy stuff. Let me just do the first tech.
My little bread and butters.
They're bread and butters for the reason. Butter is delicious. We're in the dairy state. What else do you want?
And, yeah, we got PS2 coming out here for game number 2. So a big, wide stage for Mario to spread out all these arms on. Galleon, though, big wide stage for him to get maximum distance on these combos if he can maybe get a better read on that one.
Good DI mix-up coming out. You can see a little bit of the blue line as he kind of messed up a little bit of Galleon spacing, so he couldn't get the follow-up in there. But that's a Hell's Gate. That was over 17 damage on a throw.
Yeah, and that was great, actually, stuff there from Mario. I'm going to shout out Mario there until I... that was interesting scenario there where he died to triple jab, but... able to get the tech on the Hell's Gate as well. That's such a scary scenario when you're Min, because you know that, like, when you're playing a character like Min, Cloud, Ganon, Dr. Mario, everyone's like, all right, just get him off stage, edge guard them. And so that's, like, what Mario's avoiding by taking on the stage. However, a full stock down at 94% as I was talking.
we've been talking about these combos, like, from Galleon, and they don't always have to go for a kill, but they've been pretty consistently getting Mario to, like, the 80% tax that you have to take. And speaking of 80%, that's basically all that Galleon took so far in this game.
Yeah, and as soon as Mario's off stage, Galleon is a shark that smells blood in the water. He needs these stocks flying quickly. Does still have his jump. Can he make it back? Maybe. No, B reverse on the laser, not going to let him go back.
A little B reverse just like messed up the drift oh so slightly.
Yeah, but, that's a little bit of the bleeding stop from Mario, but 71% on your last stock, and Galleon has 2 fresh ones you have to get through. You got to get something off stage fast.
These down airs from Mario have actually been pretty interesting. They've been messing up a little bit of the timing that Galleon was looking for.
Oh, that could have been something, but Galleon wisely jumps out of there. I'm surprised.
Excuse me.
That was crazy.
I'm going to need a picture of that in the future.
That's an exclamation point outplayed if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and you see, like Mario, he's scouting, for these, aerial approaches from Galleon, but Galleon really hasn't been doing the aerial approaches from that far.
No, it's
that's it.
Just a stray back here. That's Galleon going up 2-0 on Mario here in this final bracket. Galleon 1 game away from winners semis. This is a fantastic place to be for Galleon.
And I mean, Galleon wasn't qualified initially from the PR. He earned his way into this spot.
Yes.
He earned it via these wins.
And he earned it, I will crucially say also, at one of the first qualifying events. So against a myriad of players who are also here. He earned it against Mario. He earned it against Gray. He earned it against Eric, though. All of them were at that tournament. Galleon won that tournament. NTC. 14, I believe? 15?
I'm not going to confirm. Actually, switching to the Steve. Now,
this is interesting.
I do think this is maybe just like a character/controller comfortability pick. I mean, the box has really been primarily focused on the Steve, on the movement, stuff like that. And Mario kind of said that he feels as though he can play the Min on the box, but it's
the Steve that he picked up the box for it. That's the reason. And so that's like his highest peak will be Steve on box.
Yeah. And considering the record that Galleon tends to have against Vencho, they're pretty even. I'd be curious to see how this would go.
I mean, Mario and Vencho do play Steve very differently. Vencho is very combo oriented, very I'm gonna get my diamond and then I'm going to kill it. No. Excuse me. Mario, however, is because he's playing with the box, he's able to get a lot of the extra Steve stuff. So he's able to get all these NILs and all these different random Steve techs,
Oh, the sword almost walking the dog, but not able to get the follow-up, and now Galleon getting a bunch of this damage.
Is that death again?
How do you find these follow-ups, Galleon? What have you been doing in the lab?
Steve's on the screen, but Kazuya is the character that's playing creative mode right now.
Exactly. And Mario's trying to put up these walls, but Galleon is just saying, I'm going to come and approach you and destroy the walls at the same time.
Yeah. And Kazuya's one of the better characters in the game for doing that. Look at Electric Wind Godfist breaks the wall. That's crazy.
Especially Mario really has only been able to use this dirt and use a little bit of this wood. So
yeah.
Galleon's just been using that up B to clear out the entire 3-block high.
Well, on FD, you are going to get a little more dirt than on a different stage, maybe Kalos or Calabastion. However...
Oh, no.
That's not it, is it? No, okay.
Not quite, but you can see Mario's face a little bit. He wants this stock to be over right now. He has the diamond, but now the question is, can he actually steal us out? No!
No? What? Galleon with 2 SDs in this set. This is
kind of bizarre. Alone.
Or in this game, rather, yeah. This is kind of bizarre from him. Oh, I was
about
honestly,
to say,
every single time Galleon's off stage, I'm holding my breath.
Way to go, guys. Let's shoot for 3. Not quite, but yeah, you see that Mario between literally an iron and a raging demon.
Yeah. Taking a rock in a hard place to a whole new another level is Mario right now. Is that it? Yes, that is going to be it. Electric Wind Godfist into back air, and that's Galleon in winners semis with a 3-0 over Mario.
I do the switch at least to the Steve later on. I mean, as we said, the box is for the tech at least with the Steve. And I think that Mario said he really enjoys playing Steve.
Yes.
He says that Mario's a soul character. Min is the character for a lot of some bad matchups especially, and Steve is just in the one where he feels
Steve is the future.
Steve is the future, and also this is kind of similar for how I feel for example, with some of my characters like Mega Man. It feels like there's so much extra that you can do